What's up, guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema, and today we're going to review Godzilla. Starting off with some of the positives, we really do get some spectacular moments with Godzilla in the story, and there's really good shots, good framing, really good animation and CGI on Godzilla and the main villain of the story that we get to follow through with, because as Godzilla is not the main villain in this, we really get to see the other one, and the main battle between those two is really great and really well shot. Seeing those battles take place was really a fun thing to watch, but it was also a little bit emotional and added a lot of tension and like what's going to happen next within this story. And it was really nice of how the main characters of Ford Brody and his father Joe go into the mix throughout the story, and I could really feel the story take place and those characters develop as Ford Brody was in the Navy and then he goes back to his father, but he's still a warrior. Another positive is how we get to see the perspective more of the military side of things versus Godzilla. And we don't necessarily get the main characters that are not involved with the military to fight Godzilla, because Ford Brody was part of the Navy, so he's sort of involved with that sort of action. And overall, the music score was great, and it really just had some of those moments that made you remember the movie, made you remember those specific moments, and I really like that. Some of the characters don't get as developed as much as Ford Brody, the main character, does, and you can tell they're trying to make the main characters, but you don't necessarily get to feel as much emotion or care as much about that character. There's a character at the beginning that sort of leaves early, and then there's the father Joe, which you do get to spend some time with, and I did feel somewhat connected and see sort of how he was acting and what he was supposed to be doing in the story. But again, he sort of leaves a little bit early, and you don't care as much about what he would be like if he stayed until the end of the story. And as much as the villains that are monsters play a big part of the story, we don't really get as much attention to them with their names, to where I really felt like they were memorable. They had these memorable moments, even as villains that were just monsters, so they didn't necessarily have all this big plan, but they weren't really given as much attention to, where they were given a name like Godzilla. And moving on to some of the negatives is also with Godzilla. Though we got some great moments with him, at the beginning it was sort of just mentioning in his name just so you know the movie is going to have him, basically, even though the title suggests we're going to have him. The second half, we really get some brief moments seeing sort of the build-up of hyping up the character, and then in the third act is where we finally get to see him full on. But that's where it comes into play, is this is a movie about Godzilla, and we really don't get full big moments with him until the third act. The villains were more developed and we're seeing more than Godzilla was in this movie, which sort of really creates a problem, to where, like, if you had a superhero where you had Iron Man, say you didn't see Iron Man until the third half of the movie, because that's what this movie basically was. And because Godzilla was pushed so far back to his limits of how much screen time he got, Ford Brody was given so much attention that I ended up caring for him so much more, and it almost felt like this was a Ford Brody movie, if it was even such a thing, with just monsters in the mix. So overall, I had a lot of fun watching this, and I thought it was a spectacular movie. I really loved the monster moments that were given with the villains and Godzilla, but I also like the human mix of integrating the humans into the story as heroes, and especially with the military perspective of things. That's going to be about it for this review. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. I want this to be a welcome community where you can feel free to give your opinion no matter what else it is. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or do you really love it? Do you have the same opinions I have? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe because there's more movie reviews, rankings, and more on the way. Thank you for watching. Bye.